Hey guys, this is Triptych. Welcome to another Fleet Ops audio
Let's hope it's
commentary.
not 16 hours long, eh?
I got
Being
Shadow
Klingons, it
and
might be a lot of
or
cloaky, a lot of rebuilding.
I got
Doesn't bode well.
Starmaster Prodigy and Shadow going at it right now. They cannot hear me right now, although they will when I hit the press the talk button. We have Shadow in the top left as Oh, interesting. We have a head-to-head Martok
Avatar
Klingons
you, Shadow.
today.
Are you gonna make me look?
It's on the starbase now.
Yeah, no, no, no. He's same as me, Martok.
So we
I just
have
thought, well,
a
after
pair
it
of
saves me looking,
Martoks.
but he didn't want to tell me. He has a bad memory when I ask him things.
So we have a pair of Martok Klingons on Duel, and they're basically both going to have very good scouting of each other because Klingon do have trouble with their mobile
See, look,
cloak
I went for
detect.
economy first, so they went for spam first.
So these scouts are basically going to have free reign for quite a while.
Man, Shadow.
So with that, they're going to know whenever the other guy expands. And as you can see, they're both with wonderful timing. They're both going for their expansions. They both have a field yard, and they're both going for some Burrells to get that early anti-cloaking ability. However, Starmaster has gone for his field research, while Shadow de Grey is going for the experimental yard. And as we discussed, I am going to be making the field research a tech requirement for the experimental yard in the next version, because it's a little bit easy to get those E-Gen out right now, and they really are more of a later game ship. They drop the scrambling probe, which disables weapons on nearby targets, and can be very effective in bigger fleet fights. And recently, also because their stats are a little bit higher than many of the early Birds of Prey, these guys have been making E-Gen very, very early, and I don't like it. They shouldn't be replacing Cavorts, which is basically the ship that you would normally get at this stage. So we're going to find a way to make these E-Gen harder to get to.
That way. On my way.
So we see Shadow with his Burrells and E-Gen. Meanwhile, Starmaster Prodigy, I believe he's gotten one Burrell out and then a Cavort. Or no, did he get any Burrells out? Unless I find it later, I believe Starmaster Prodigy actually cancelled a Burrell and has only Cavorts. Oh, okay, there he is.
It has crashed.
He's going back and forth.
I hope not.
No, I didn't.
He's so surprised. No, I didn't. I'm still here. Oh, look at how they're building OP ships.
So now both players are going for a second expansion very quickly. You can tell they've been playing with each other for a lot of time. You can also tell that they're both used to getting defensive after a while and building fortifications. Starmaster down there was getting his heavy weapons platform.
Telling you my secret, Shadow.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was broadcasting. I have too many buttons. You can see Shadow getting his heavy weapons platform down at the bottom. You can see... Damn it. You can see Shadow getting his mining up in the top, and Starmaster Prodigy getting his heavy weapons platform in the bottom. As the ships begin to gather for their first fight, both of them want to go after the other's economy. But once the battle begins, it'll be very much about how many ship stats are around. Since the Burrells will be able to chase down anybody trying to escape, it is, if they play carefully, they are likely to be able to get kills this early. So we see, I think that is the second, possibly third E-Gen coming out. Now Shadow has 2 Burrells and the E-Gen, while Starmaster Prodigy has Burrell, Cavort, and he's about to have another. So you see Prodigy popping a Katinga. He may pop some more, or he may be forced to pop some more while his ships arrive. And there is no repair yard or anything nearby. You'll also see the Chore has its own weapon on it, which is helpful for the Klingons in the beginning. It also does extra damage to small ships. And there, the weapons and engines getting disabled on these ships for just a second, and they're going to leave the area of that probe just in time, and it looks like they did not get any kills. So now, Shadow is mining. Actually, their bases are looking almost identical in most respects. Shadow has his mining up here. Starmaster Prodigy has a heavy weapons platform. And you'll also notice they are very neck and neck with their income. So I believe, whatever it is, Shadow has built something that equals in price to that heavy weapons platform. It may just be that his E-Gen are more expensive than the Cavorts coming out. And as you can see, both are... Actually, Starmaster Prodigy is only building out of this yard. I'm wondering if he's going to get a battle yard or something soon. Some further, there it is, amount of production.
Stop spamming, Shadow. I am not spamming. Taking up, boy. I'm taking up.
Go, go, go.
Because simply producing out of 1 yard, he's going to have a hard time keeping up with Shadow's ship production. As there are now 3 Burrells, 2 E-Gen, and still plenty on the way. Is that 4 Burrells? 4 Burrells, 2 E-Gen, and more on the way. So he's going to win any fight that happens in open space. Looks like you got 2 Shadow's Interceptors.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Oops, I misclicked. Only 1.
What is named after you?
Now we see Sangs being queued up for Starmaster Prodigy, which are not going to do much to these Burrells and E-Gen up the top. I believe the E-Gen is a medium ship, but still, the Burrells are not going to take very much damage from those torpedoes. And he's going for the decloak. He has his Cavorts and Burrells. I think he might just want to go for the freighter kills and then get out.
Oh, bitch.
And if that scrambling drone gets a disable on the weapons, then the ship will not be able to cloak, which is the big danger. There's another one. and Shadow is very carefully hemming these ships in, trying to catch them with one of these scrambling probes. But it looks like they are going to get out. But at the same time, they didn't kill any freighters, so very little happening on that front. Now we have 5 Burrells, 3 E-Gen, and still building. All of these ships are pulse-based. All of these are good against small ships. The Burrells get a bonus damage to long range, which is what the Sangs are, and the Sangs are small. So those Burrells are really going to rip into the Sangs. And there's still more, so this does not look good for Starmaster Prodigy. And then, man, these players' income is just through the roof. Often in the old days, our players wouldn't really expand their economies too much, and as a result, we tended to see poorer games. But this time around, Shadow is keeping his ship production up full tilt, and Star Master Prodigy is getting his heavy weapons platforms up at both of his expansions. So in order to stop this, Shadow would have needed to snipe this pretty early. However, since he is not, and the heavy weapons platform did go up, these do extra damage to short range, which is all the Burrells. So if those Burrells go nearby, they will be slaughtered. Although now I think Shadow's going to get a very nasty decloak on Prodigy's fleet. There is one Burrell, two Burrells, possibly a Cavort dead? Yes, the Cavort dies as well. That entire raiding fleet is gone, and now it's just going to be a matter of how much damage Shadow can do with his superior fleet. Shadow has clearly gained an advantage, and he is also teching towards he's teching towards Vutpa, I believe, since he's built his battle yard and armory and ordnance depot. These players, they do have a tremendous income right now. 3 die, 2 try. These Sangs are just not going to do very well. As you can see, there is a sensor station up for the Borg, for the Klingons, which will make it difficult to sneak up on this area. I'll say that heavy weapons platform will do a lot of damage, especially if it detects something cloaked. Oh, wow! I don't know if this is something Shadow can win, and he's about to get decloaked. He's all about to get decloaked. There it goes! And the heavy weapons platforms open fire. I don't think they're going to get another kill.
Nice Shadow, my resources.
Yeah, I can see that clearly.
That was dangerous.
Message received.
So as you can see, there's an interesting side effect that the turrets will not fire on ships that are decloaking until they fully decloak. So even if they were detected beforehand, so that actually caused a 4-second window during which it wasn't firing on the decloaking ships. And I think he might have gotten another Burrell kill if it had fired 2 or 3 volleys. However, it did not. Shadow now getting improved engines. I wonder if they got any weapon upgrades. Oh, Polar on torpedo. Okay. So his Vorcha, taking half damage from short range, it's going to be highly resistant to the Burrells and Cavorts. And honestly, these are actually, the Sangs are actually a good call against the Vorcha. So in a little bit of a way, Shadow not wanting to spam the entire game, not wanting to build the exact same ship, is actually going to help out a little bit. Although his E-gen count continues to climb.
To what the hell are you taking up, Mikey?
I don't know, man. I'm just building stations. I'm trying to make my base look really big and scary.
Sure. Believe you.
Really cloak my ships though before they die.
How did you know that I scouted that and thought that is really nice?
Yes, you just saw my base, eh? What you do is obviously you look to see what I'm building, and I thought, oh, he's probably down there somewhere. They've been there ages as well. Like 4 ships have been built. I didn't cloak them.
It was like candy that I wanted to take from you.
And there's a big decloak, gonna kill 2 freighters at least. With all this pulse damage, I don't know if they'll get the mining station, they may just retreat. But the thing is, Prodigy has nothing that can counter this fleet right now. He can only try to raid against Shadow, and there we have the first Vutpa. I don't know if the upgrade has been researched. Let's find out. It is being researched, so once it is upgraded, this becomes a troop ship, and it also gains its powerful decloak ability. As you can see, in Triptychs mod, I increased the stats of this considerably. Actually, I don't know if I increased the direct combat stats. The difference is, it now fires on more enemies at once, which increases its overall damage, but doesn't give it a specific advantage in getting kills. However, it does have the manual targeting, and it will also gain access to mass-seeking missiles, which targets nearby cloaked enemies and disables their weapons. Now it'll be interesting to see this. I do believe... Sangs. Sangs raiding freighters. You see so many misses. I do believe Shadow has enough firepower to kill this, although if he did, he would take a lot of losses. Because all these smaller ships, they just deal reduced damage to the platform, and the platform will kill a lot of Borels. But he's going for it, and you see a lot of damage right out the bat. Actually, that Polaron torpedo on the Vorcha might do a lot to this heavy weapons platform. And it looks like it's firing on the close ships. The E-Gen are tanking, and the Borels are not getting fired on, so Mighty Master is going to lose this. Or Master Prodigy. The man of many names.
Interceptor low on shields. And to repair.
And now that he knows he's not going to be countered, Prodigy is sending his Sangs right back to kill the rest of this stuff. However, mass-seeking missiles is going to finish soon. And then this fleet will simply be deadly. Especially with the Vutpa also are highly resistant to torpedoes. They have their EM ability. This one. They have their targeting scrambler, giving them an avoidance chance against torpedo weapons, which will cause them to... Also, their defense value is lower than the Vorcha. So, although it looks like the E-Gen will get fired on first. But Shadow's putting together a very, very nice mixed Klingon fleet there. Here we see some Luspet coming out. They have the short-range, high damage that does a lot of hull damage. But Shadow has a really nice mixed fleet here. He still has the ability to drop those scrambling drones. And Starmaster Prodigy has actually gotten locked on supply, which is a very big concern with these Luspet, because a Luspet costs some 50 plus supply, I think. It has the 80 AI, which increases the supply cost. And so he is actually going to have to buy supply, and he... Oh, okay, I was going to say he would have tritanium issues, but it looks like he's doing okay. And as you can see, Prodigy's fleet is mixed up, spread out, but now here come a lot of Borels. Look at all these Borels, just barely making it out with good timing. If those Borels had caught the Sangs, then...
You can see we playing too long, because that timing was absolutely perfect.
Is this what, my friend? Boff!
There's going to be a whole lot of cat and mouse going on now as the two cloaked
You have
fleets
a much bigger fleet than me, though.
chase
Not
each
good.
other around. And there's some mass-seeking missiles going out. Hit the scout. And damage the cavort. They're going to have to go home and repair. Fortunately, the scout did not get boarded. But you got to watch out for those mass-seeking missiles. And it can use them multiple times. They only work on cloaked enemies, and they do a small amount of damage, and then they decloak the enemy. However, I believe they can be used while cloak. That I'm not certain of, though. And Shadow has a chance. Especially if he sees these cavorts here, he knows the whole fleet is here.
Why the hell are they decloaked?
He might pop mass-seeking
Not
missiles.
stupid ships. I use the Vuchpa that come out of the yard on top to pink you, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Quickly change it to refit and pink you.
So let you off then.
Now this does not look good for Prodigy. He has... Actually, Shadow's mining has also been reduced. However, Shadow now has firm control of the map. And there's nothing Prodigy's fleet can do against this. Even he doesn't even have his Sang and Lusbet specials, and he just doesn't have the resources to keep producing. He could actually, okay, he can do some decent damage. Maybe if he was engaging at a starbase or one of his heavy weapons platforms. But in general, I think there's just not enough damage here, and you can see how the decloaked ships are giving away the location of the cloaked ships. Unless he's trying to bait Shadow into it. And let's analyze here. Actually, the Vutpa, Vorcha, and E-General are medium range, so the Lusbet will resist that pretty well. There's so many counters going back and forth. The more I think about it, even though the supply issues he'll have, I think these Lusbet aren't entirely a bad idea. And here we go with a full decloak right on Shadow's fleet. But the scrambling drones go down, and there are a lot of them. And that could be some very nasty disables on Starmaster Prodigy's fleet as soon as the next wave comes. We're going to see it here. There it goes. And everybody's drifting. Everybody's drifting. Everybody's weapons are out. Klingons need to move and get out. I don't know how many of Shadow's ships died, but I know a lot of Prodigy's did. It looks like he's out of his Burrells and some Cavorts as well. The Lusbet are doing well, although they won't be targeted until last. And I think they did kill some Burrells. Actually, honestly, not much died on Shadow's side either. That was a whole lot of firing going on for not much dying. But during that amount of time... Oh, Shadow's gotten supply blocked. I wonder if Shadow's researching some upgrades, because that's... Oh no! Shadow's home mining got raided, and he's just now replacing it. I didn't realize that. Prodigy really did knock out almost all of Shadow's mining, and now Shadow has to recover the mining by building all these freighters, then buy supply. So it actually will be quite a long time until Shadow can add to his combat fleet. Once again, I think he's got the firepower. If Shadow catches Prodigy's fleet in a single mass-seeking missiles, it'll be over. Because he'll have those weapon disables, and then he'll be able to drop his probes, his scrambling probes. And so on and so forth. This ordnance depot may go down. Although there's so many Vutpa queued up, they'll stay in the queue, even if it's destroyed. And now Prodigy getting his own E-Gens. I can definitely see how there's some balance issues with these ships being available early. They definitely need to be balanced into the game later, and so in the next version of Triptychs mod I will put them later. And possibly more expensive, we'll see. There's another decloak on Shadow's mining. We'll probably see 2 freighters go down. Shadow turning around now. This is going to be dangerous. Every second these ships stick around is a chance for them to get caught. And Shadow is going to have those mass-seeking missiles. There they go. Shadow would have seen them traveling this way. Shadow's going to decloak. We're going to see mass-seeking missiles go out any second. Oh, but they're getting away. Keep running. Oh, the mass-seeking missiles are out. And all three of them damaged weapons. They cannot fire. They have to go. They cannot cloak. They have to go all the way home. And Shadow's gonna take the whole fleet. He's already ready for more mass-seeking missiles.
Oh, I took up too much.
So there is no cloaking out for these ships.
I have a Vuchpa refit.
Yeah, I also took up way too much. I should have built more Borels like you. You have quite a few of them.
Better.
I should have built them stupid overpowered green ships. I still need enough.
And you see the manual targeting.
Gun.
Shadow can still see them. And there goes another mass-seeking missiles decloaking them. So a very educational game for me, if only because I need to rebalance some of these
Brels
ships.
is best Klingon friend. I shouldn't tell you that, but they are the little
I know,
tiny
I built
decloaker
some.
are awesome.
I built some, but I didn't want to spam them, so I stopped building them. I only built like 3 or 4.
There's a triptych signing out.
Usually I